Okay, let me see which camera is on. A second. No, I got that in your face. So come in, hit the like, hit the share button. Just came back from a quick power nap and had a doctor's appointment today. Still got my IV bandage on and my name tag. Also, real quick, I want to thank everyone, specifically on my Facebook page. Get the echo going on. Specifically on my Facebook page, I was reading the book today during my procedure, Think and Grow Rich, and I just decided to take a picture and a caption. And you all, I want to really, really emphasize this: is that I don't feel comfortable right now telling people exactly what my health issues and diagnosis is. I will say this: it's amazing to me when people text me this in the business, whatever they. Um, often bring up their life issues, and I'm at the doctor simultaneously as they're texting me about what's going on in their life. And one of my firm beliefs um, about life is you can make excuses or you can execute, but you cannot do both, right? You can make excuses and you can execute, but you cannot do both. And so I don't tell people what my diagnosis is, because I have found, even though people are very well attempting to be helpful, and I'm not taking that away from people that will really sincerely come from a place of offering help, people will offer you advice, medical advice, without even knowing your diagnosis. And I believe in paralysis of analysis, meaning that you can be overwhelmed with people and their suggestions concerning your health, concerning your finances, concerning your personal life in general. And it is best, to me, the very first move people should make whenever they have some health issues that arise. And I believe in prayer, and I believe in the power of agreement. The Bible states, when two or three touch and agree in my name, I am in the midst. I believe in all of that. However, I do believe that there is a time to be still and know that He is God, and to get with God yourself first, so you won't be detoured from the many suggestions and opinions of people, to seek God for yourself. And one of my pet peeves is I really dislike when people say, hey, take this herb, do this natural diet, do this holistic, um, take this medication, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that, because you don't even know what my diagnosis is. I do not believe in a one size fit all when it comes to your health. I do not. Right. I was talking to someone today, and a person would give you generalized advice. And I'm going to get on the topic. We're going to talk about the economy, right? But let me vent and say this first, because I have a lot of followings. Hello, Miss Howard. Thank you. Thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well as well. I was talking to someone, and it was the nurse that I was talking to today. And I told her, I said, I have thousands of followers, both on my Facebook and my YouTube page. And I said, I don't even tell them my specific diagnosis, or I won't tell them right now. I may tell you all later on, because only if it can help someone, right? Only if it can help someone. But I said, you would not believe the overwhelming amount of people that would say, eat this, have this diet, don't do this, don't do that. And again, I know people have good intentions. In fact, you don't have good intentions, you have great intentions, right? I know, but you cannot give people generalized advice, right? You should not do that, because that's that person's life and livelihood and health that is at risk. And you don't even know, right, what's wrong with them, right? People will just say, do this, and you don't even know. Like, and I was telling the nurse, it's different types of cancer. For example, you have, it could be cancer in your brain, it could be cancer of the blood, right? What is leukemia? You can have breast cancer, you can have colon cancer, you can have prostate cancer, you can have liver cancer. So many different types of forms of cancer, but people will, without knowing your diagnosis, They will give you a plan, and who knows where they got it from, and say, hey, you should eat this, you should do this. And people, that is overwhelming. Now, I do think people that says, I'm praying for you. I appreciate your prayers. I do. But sometimes people will use terminology and prayers that I don't really agree with. Like, I'm praying for your sickness. I'm not sick. I'm tired from treatment, but I'm not sick. Right. So I have to be careful who I open up to. And I believe this is for any sickness or diagnosis, that any, in my opinion, problem in your life or sickness or disease, which is disease, have a higher percentage of improving and getting better whenever you remove negative energy, negative eating, and not exercising. That's the 3 E's from your life. Negative energy, eating inappropriate foods, negative. Look, according to your diagnosis, you need to see for yourself what foods you need to remove out of your diet plan, right? And negative energy and not exercising. When you take care of those 3 components, right, then you can offer up a prayer of thanksgiving, in my opinion, and you're not offering up a prayer of healing, but a prayer of thanksgiving for your progress on your healing journey, right? So I'm not sick. So please don't say I'm praying for your sick. No, I don't receive that. All right. I'm healed, but through the process, for example, of being on a 3-day liquid diet and walking 3 miles as I'm doing it, right? Uh, I may be tired. I am tired. I am human, right? But it's overwhelming when people message me and text me. That makes me even more tired, right? And so I thank you. If you want to leave a comment on YouTube, then do that. But please, people, please don't text me remedies, and you don't know, you have no idea what my ailment is, and you don't know it in detail. I do not believe in a one size fit all when it comes to health. I do not. And so if you don't know it in detail, right, it becomes very overwhelming. And get to a point where I just need rest, and I need your behind the scenes prayers, if that's what you want to do. All right, so let's get into the economy. That's why I hit the go live button, even though I am fatigued today from seeing my doctor. But I want to ask you a question in the midst of this, because one of my favorite people that I like to read about from a metaphysical perspective is Catherine Ponder, right? Catherine Ponder. I love reading Catherine Ponder. And from reading and researching her from a metaphysical perspective, one of the things that she brought out, or that she realized, is that when people speak prosperity scriptures over their lives, when people were receiving her metaphysics, when people were doing the things according to scripture and spiritual, right? I do believe in spirituality. I do not believe in religion. Religion is an organized institution that tells you what to think and not teach you how to think, and definitely do not teach you creative thinking. And the Bible says, they that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. So many people don't know how to worship the Most High in spirit, and the truth part to come along with it, right? And so one of the things that I found from reading and researching about her is that oftentimes when she would give people a metaphysical remedy, and they would support that by affirmations and having a creative thinking and having the desire and ambition to improve their lives financially, by doing so, their life as a byproduct would improve. If they were married, for example, their marriage would get better, their health will get better, right? Other areas in their life will get better, all from having a prosperity mindset. Now, how can that be? That my health improves as I'm thinking about improving my finances, that my marriage would improve because I'm thinking about and because I'm doing actions to improve my mindset. Because people, when you drive out a poverty mindset, right, impoverished situations will, as a byproduct, go away as well. When you take out negative thinking, most things in life is mind over matter. Most people see belief is action. If you tell me you believe in me and what I teach and what I educate you on, I'm going to see it with your actions. Oftentimes, people that operate in faith, they only ask. Matthew 7:7, ask and it shall be given. But they don't go to the next two levels, which is to seek and you shall find. And then the more aggressive level is action oriented, which you have to knock and the door will be open. Most people stop at the first level of just asking. And unfortunately, they believe that this is faith. Faith is action. In fact, the Bible says faith without works is dead. Faith is backed by action oriented activity. So belief, I can see your belief by your acts. ACTS. But most people think they're operating in faith by asking. ASKING. See, it's often debated with me and theologians about the 2 Kings chapter 4 woman. They often say this woman acted out of faith. No, she acted out of fear. Initially, she acted out of fear. She had a fear of losing her sons to the creditors as her husband died. She acted out of fear. Unfortunately, some people only change their behavior because they have a fear of loss. They have a fear of loss. And then they change their behavior. Right? This lady had a fear of loss. And so she changed because she had belief in the prophet who gave her financial instructions. He did not give her a sermon. He did not give her motivational or affirmation sayings. He gave her a strategic game plan, and her belief system kicked in. See, her BS kicked out, right? Her blind spot, or if you know BS by any other language, I do too. That removes, and her belief system, the other BS kicked in. And when her belief system kicked in because of the fear of loss, she then was able to execute a financial miracle and financial independence in her life. So instead of having her sons to work for somebody else through a job or through employment, she learned the strategy of how to leverage her credit from whether you say Alicia or Elijah, and how to incorporate a home-based business. One of the things I've been teaching for years is the power of having a home-based business as your first prerequisite of gaining financial independence. If I was teaching baseball and had a diamond concept, that should be your first base, because at some point, you're going to need to increase your cash flow so you can continue to put your money in streams, multiple streams of income that can passively work for you while you're working. That's the power of compound interest, people, where your money is making money uninterrupted. However, most people money cannot make money uninterrupted because they come through a financial emergency and they're already paycheck poor. Their paycheck is already deficit. And they then get desperate for passive income to work for them quicker than what it should. See, You must make your money when it comes to digital income when the market is low, when the market looks destitute, when the market looks dead. It's called buying the dips. That's how you prepare yourself for the bull run. You got to be like Noah and build the ark when you see no rain. And see, most people, they get excited about Bitcoin when it's like today, 30,000 and the all-time high of 69,000. Now they get excited about Bitcoin, right? But they don't get excited about the 16,000 Bitcoin or when they see that Bitcoin is in the red. And this is why most people's financial plan is not working. Let me show you this clip. Thank you so much, Freelance. We are talking in communication now about him helping me to improve my YouTube channel. So thank you for coming in and being a listener. And thank you for all the work you have done up to this point to help me enhance my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So this is Barry White. This video clip on my YouTube has 121,000 views, over almost 10,000 people like this, 8.9 thousand at the moment. And he's telling us from 1983, he's warning us about AI and technology and crypto, where we are now in 2022. So let me allow you all to listen in on this clip.
Technology has taken it from the big studio to a little space.
Here's the request.
What's coming there?
Technology. See, what we see today is just the taking off of it. It's still coming. Technology is going to replace human beings. Unless you know how to program a computer or how to fix one, you're going to be in trouble in that area. In our industry, the industry has changed. Studios going out of business every day in Hollywood because technology has taken it from the big studio to a little space. Something new is happening in the 80s, just for you, but you can't get lazy. All you do is just make up your mind that you're going to do something. The key to life is your attitude. Make sure you're doing what you want to do. You know how many people go to college for 4 or 5 years and get out and never do or use what they went to college for? Wasting time.
What's coming there?
Technology. See, what we see today is just the taking off of it. It's still coming. Technology is going to replace human beings. Unless you know how to program a computer or how to fix one, you're going to be in trouble in that area. In our industry, the industry has changed. Studios going out of business every day in Hollywood because technology has taken it from the big studio to a little space. Something new is happening in the 80s.
And so that's a clip from the 80s when he was saying technology is taking over, right? Now you can do recordings with people and you don't even have to be in the same studio space. And he was saying that is your attitude. Doing what you love. And doing what you love does not mean that you cannot make passive income elsewhere. You can do what you love. See, I'm from Mississippi, right? Known as one of the poorest states in the United States out of the 50 states. I think we definitely rank in the top 3, if not number 1 in poverty. And my calling, even though it does come with some stress time to time, does not mean that your calling will not be stressful, or your passion or your purpose in life. I've been watching Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin perform, and they was on stage sweating profusely as they performed, right? When you hear about their childhood story and drama that they went through, it does not mean the absence of troubles in your life or issues to reach your greatness. But that's my calling. It's very low income. It's something that you definitely working with children, you get overworked and underpaid. So it has to be for your purpose or your calling. But teaching people financial skills and teaching the future of this financial system reset is my purpose. That's the only reason why I have to come in from the doctor today. I'm even hitting the go live button because people are texting me. I don't really feel like talking to a lot of people. I don't, because there's energy draining and I'm not giving any more of my energy, but I'm giving my energy to you if you're on this live stream, because that's my purpose. You can push through the tiredness, right, for your purpose, but just casually talking on the phone and people texting me about health remedies, I'm not responding to that. So this is what's going on. The Fed raised the interest rate today, right? And this is the highest interest rate raise or spike hike. As they said, that 2 more were going to be likely. And they've been on a mission for the past 14 months, raising interest rates at its fastest clip in 40 years. Right. And so this is the first time since January of last year, 2022, how this has affected the economy. But guess what? That's not even the big news about the interest rate, because they've already told you that 2 more hikes are coming, and they're foretelling you what they're going to do. They're telling you, they're helping you plan, but again, most people, unfortunately, do not take action. And I can prove that with numbers, right? Because 5% of the population owns 95% of the wealth. So the road to riches and wealth is only, if you think in the Bible that the road to heaven is narrow for the rich man and the camel, most people are taught that concept the wrong way. That scripture was saying that in those times, when you own a camel, it related to rich and wealthy people. That was their mode of transportation. It would be like having a Rolls Royce today, right? And so rich and wealthy people had camels, and the eye of a needle was a gate, right, that you had to pass through to get to your next country or wherever you was traveling to. And oftentimes the hump of that camel had so many possessions that the rich and wealthy had that they would have to take those possessions off, unpack the camel, lower the camel, and then take the possessions through the gate, the eye of the needle. And it says it's hard for a rich man to enter into heaven than it is to go through the eye of a needle. And why is that? Because some rich and wealthy people don't tap into the communication with the higher power, but they have more faith in their possessions and they're rich and wealthy. Likewise, it is even harder for a poor person to enter up to heaven. Heaven is in your mind. You heave up, is your mentality. Why? Because you don't, or most people that are living in poor and poverty, either do not have the information or the action they need. A lot of times with internet and things going on, people have the information, but they learn to consume information. They don't learn to take action. And as a result, nothing in their life will change. In fact, the Bible states it's better not to know a thing than to know a thing and not do it. Their life really get worse when they don't take action, because you've been introduced to the solution. And at that point, it's not God's place or position to put you somewhere when he's provided you with the knowledge of how to get there. So if you think it's hard for a rich man to enter into the spiritual heaven and heave up in his mind and the spiritual things and not have faith in his possessions, it's even harder for people with a poverty mindset, because they never get the richer things in life spiritually or in this natural world. But for some reason, they had a concept that I'm going to die and go to heaven and walk on streets of gold and live in a mansion, but they don't want to do that on earth. Make that make sense. You don't even want to invest in gold on earth, but you want to die in your spirit that does not need a physical place to live. That's not what that word mansion means. And your spirit does not need streets of gold. That's not what that means to walk on. You are a spirit. You won't be in a physical body, but you don't even want to own gold on in earth. You know why they tell you that? Because they know that you won't look forward to owning gold and silver on earth and the riches on earth. You'll look for in the afterlife. And if they can program you to think that way, you won't live in your highest being. You won't be in the highest form of yourself. The Bible states the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof and all that dwell within. True. But he says, the earth I have given unto mankind, the highest heaven belongs to the Lord. He said, I've given you all that. That's what I want you to subdue and have dominion over. But you stay in a impoverished mindset. You do not take action. You're not action oriented. I was on a Zoom with someone, and I say most people are just socialists. They want to talk about the problem instead of acting for the solution. They're not activists. They're socialists. They want to have conversations. They want to blame it on the government. They want to blame it on taxes. They're going to blame it on Biden in a few months. They're going to blame it on Republicans. They're going to blame it on Democrats. No, you are the person that's responsible for your financial, spiritual, and physical success. You are. God said, I've already given you dominion. Deuteronomy says, I've given you the power to get wealth. And there's still people talking about God will provide. He told you, I gave that to you to do. So, got crypto. Get more crypto. Why? Get more crypto. Why? Because Dogecoin and other meme coins, they've surged after Bitcoin hits 30,000. Bitcoin rises our ships. And so these meme coins rose as little as 8%. As Michael Jordan would say, the GOAT, the greatest of all times in the sport of basketball, you miss all the shots you don't take. My quote is, you miss all the investment gains that you do not make. So as Bitcoin rose 21%, people, that's over the last week. Yes, week on Thursday. This rally of other cryptocurrencies, right? Even Pepe coin went up 88%. I'm not personally in Pepe coins. I don't like the uncertainty of a lot of these meme coins. I actually study the project. I've always said this in the crypto world. If it's not backed up, it's probably made up. People, let me tell you all this. A lot of people have missed the boat when it comes to Bitcoin, and you still trying to keep $1,000 and $2,000 in Bitcoin. That's not, you're not going to have a lot of meat on the bone. You have to get in, as Warren Buffett says, when there is blood in the streets. You have to get in these coins when they are a penny on the dollar. And I got people that, Bitcoin is way out of control for $1,000 or $2,000 to make a big impact. You may get $500 to $1,000 on it. You may get that much. But, I know you tell me, Robert Kiyosaki says that we should own Bitcoin. Robert Kiyosaki is a billionaire. He's talking to people that can afford straight up to get 2 or 3 Bitcoins at 26K or more, 5 or 10. Right? He's talking to that audience. That's not for people that have $1,000 or $2,000 in Bitcoin or even $5,000. That advice, unfortunately, is not for you. So you have to find these other blue chip cryptocurrencies that's going to give you more bang for your buck and have, more meat on the bone per se, that has more upfront potential where you can put a little in, which is 4 figures or 5 figures. And so you can get a lot more. That's how you become a 5 or 6 figure income or a crypto millionaire or a crypto deca millionaire or a digital deca millionaire. Unless you're planning on traveling abroad and out of the country, I mean, it'll be better for most people to get physical silver because that's a commodity like Bitcoin that's accepted globally. You could be having $2,000 or $3,000 in another blue chip crypto that's still pennies on the dollar that can make you 6 figures return, but you're trying to stay in Bitcoin and get 2 or 3 figures return. So now you have the GDP of BRICS plus nations reach. That's the double 66. I talked about the winter solstice and the number 66. I didn't talk about it, but I posted about it. Reached 32.66 trillion ahead of 7.16 trillion from the United States. People notice that plus sign. That means other countries are coming to join: Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. The 2 powerhouses. Right? China, United States. I'm not even having a conversation anymore about whether dollar lose its reserve status. It does not matter because crypto is still going to be crypto. And every time they raise the debt ceiling or increase interest rates high, you're going to see the power of Bitcoin and other cryptos that's going to raise tremendously. But Janet Yellen has already said the dollar is going to lose much as its reserve status or purchasing power, even the more, and that only countries that have no alternative will still use it. That's Janet Yellen, the Secretary of State. So a handful of countries have expressed interest to join the BRICS alliance and accept the new currency for cross-border transaction. The BRICS expansion to BRICS Plus will be jointly decided by the bloc in the next summit. People, this is in August, in South Africa in August of this year. Today is June 22nd. The launch of FedCoin technology is happening July 1st. And some of you all are still not taking action. You're not converting your cash into income producing asset in the new asset class. Do you hold enough crypto tokens that are backed by real world commodities for when the next bull run come around? That's my question to you. $100 in Bitcoin in 2008 and 2009 year will be worth 75 million today. That's over 15 years of holding and accumulating and the power of compounding interest. This is not a pump and dump plan. This is getting ahead of a new financial system that's about to be reset plan. So as of right now, the United States GDP, global domestic product, stands at 25.5 trillion at its latest estimate. This was provided in 2022. So the GDP right now is about 26 trillion as of this year, 2023. And the United States is the world's biggest economy, with China coming in at 19 trillion. So that's what, roughly $7 trillion difference. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The alliance of BRICS nations will contribute to that. 31.5% of the overall GDP. And they are collaborating with China, which means it's going to surpass the United States global domestic product figure by more than $7 trillion. Which means if you're not putting your money into this next shift, a lot of people got upset with Dave Ramsey when the people said, when Dave Ramsey made that statement that if you, okay, happy birthday. I'm glad you got a birthday in August. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but we are in June. My birthday in September. So happy early birthday to you. Let's stay focused, people. See how people can't stay focused. Let's stay focused. An eagle 5 miles from the air to land can stay focused on a field mouse 5 miles from air to land as it begins to zoom in to get that field mouse for its food, it focuses on nothing else but that field mouse. I'm not breaking down numerology on this one, live stream. I'm breaking down common sense things that Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles can see that's about to happen in this economy. Because unfortunately, some people are so spiritually minded and earthly minded, and heavenly minded, and they are all into numerologies. And they're not doing anything with their money. They're broke. Maybe the treatment today made me a little bolder. I don't know. We're going to blame it on the treatment, right? I've seen spiritual people broke. I've seen religious people broke. Right? I've seen anointed people broke. Queen, why you got to say broke? Okay, I'll say it nice. Living paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes you need to direct. Because until you face the music and look at your financial life, until you get tired of poverty and being broke, you won't have a desire to change. So that's why I say broke, because it's more blunt. All right, we're gonna blame it on no, we're not. This is just who I am. I'm not gonna blame it on anything. This is a part of me. I'm not like this all the time. Because people need to direct sometimes. It's the coach in me, I'll say it that way. It's the coach in me to give it to you straight. Right? No chaser. So 14 trillion earthquake, Fidelity, and BlackRock are quietly laying the groundwork for the next Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto price bull run. You all do know that the Bitcoin halving is happening next year. And up to that halving, Bitcoin usually surpasses its all-time high months after that halving occurs, right? 2024, for a lot of people, this position is going to be the year of breakthrough. Financial breakthrough, and they're going to have the greatest wealth transfer. They're going to be the first millionaires and multimillionaires of their family because they took action and they stayed focused. And they positioned themselves for this financial shift. They was futuristic thinking. So according to Forbes, as you see, digital assets, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other major cryptos currently trailing far below their all-time highs. However, right, the Bitcoin price has added around 70% since the beginning of the year. Do you all know that Bitcoin is the best performing asset in the last 5 years? So you have 14 trillion dollars trillion again with the T assets under Fidelity and BlackRock. They are quietly expanding into the world of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrency. My question to you: what moves are you making in silence to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer? And even bigger than that, the greatest wealth transfer. What are you doing to prevent yourself from feeling the sting and the hurt of recession and a depression? That's an even bigger question, in my opinion, to ask. So here, a new wave, major bank reveals a $15 trillion earthquake could be headed for, listen, a new wave. People that are connected to me are 10 steps ahead for Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, ADA, Cardano, Dogecoin, Tron, Solana, and Polygon. Again, coming from Forbes, a very creditable source. So my question to you is not when your birthday is. I'm glad about everybody that has a date of birth. I'm not breaking down your life number. I'm not breaking down your numerology on this live stream. We're not going to, no, we're not. I'm not going into that. My question to you is, do you have more crypto? Do you got more crypto? Or in other words, get more crypto. How about just straight up, get more crypto? And I've been talking about commodity-backed crypto that you can, again, get compound interest. The eighth wonder of the world is when your money is making money uninterrupted. And if you need to pull that money out or your profits out, you can do that and continuously get more added to you. Again, 2 Kings chapter 4, this is a very biblical principle. The widow woman, as she had the oil, whether it's Elisha or Elijah, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and write a book on that because I teach on that too much not to have a book on it. I'm teaching on 2 Kings chapter 4, the financial lessons taught in that. Right. He told her to go borrow vessels from her neighbors and don't borrow a few. That's teaching to leverage your credit. And he said, fill them with commodities, right? God's wealth, God's way. If it's in the crypto world, if it's not backed up, it's probably made up. You have to be careful of these pumps and dumps. And, you know, that's more like gambling to me. I don't do gambling. But if it's not backed up, it's made up, probably made up. And he said, go get commodities, leverage your credit, put your sons in a home-based business, and get your tax deduction, and you could be forever rich. It's, to me, it's very simple, but for some people, it's not. And I have all the moves for people to do just that financial plan, that financial formula to get financial independence. She had commodities. She leveraged her credit. She didn't teach her sons to be employees. She reconstructed the plan so they could be entrepreneurs and work for her. She shut the door. She moved in power and silence. She took the advice from a mentor, Elisha or Elijah, whatever way you want to pronounce it. And it says she retired rich because, you know, note when her husband died, she became a widow. This woman had to have a new mindset, and she had in her possession commodities, and Bitcoin is the only deemed commodity in Ethereum right now that there is. XRP is fighting to be named a commodities. And people, China and the United States, when the BRICS Plus meet in August, more than likely World War III will happen, and it will happen because this will be a commodities war. United States GDP, gross domestic products, meaning we're not exporting anything. We are very dependent on the commodities of other countries, including the oil for Saudi Arabia, the agriculture from China, and other commodities, natural gas, that'd be, you know, Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Kansas right now is having a crop shortage of wheat. Brazil is having a cattle shortage, as Texas had 18,000 cattle to die. You have high yielding agriculture supported by Grow. You have the other X that's under the radar, literally, because this is the technology that find these commodities in the earth realm. As my mentor always states and say, it makes 0 cents to have 100% of man's money, which is cash. 100% of man's money, but have 0% of God's wealth plan, and have 0% of God's money. Aluminum, this is 10,000 acres of land in Ghana, supported by bauxite. We use and utilize these commodities, whether you're wearing 100% cotton or you're drinking out of aluminum can every day. This is beverage, supported by tea drinkers, coffee drinkers, energy drinkers, wine and spirits, beer, wine drinkers, water drinkers like I'm drinking. All of this is under this umbrella. This is blocks. This is commercial real estate. People, if you learn to get rich in the metaverse, you can get rich in the universe. Again, get more crypto. Do you hold enough tokens for when the next crypto bull run? And I'm talking about getting in on these when they are a penny on a dollar, when you are pulling from them, if need be, in case of an emergency. And it's replenishing itself like the 2 Kings chapter 4 one. Unfortunately, a lot of people take profits in Bitcoin and Ethereum and these top market cap. And when you take profits, you sell your coins. They will not be replaced. And you're also going to get taxed on that. So you're losing your asset, which is the crypto, when you convert it into your bank account, which is known as converted into cash. And then you don't ever get it replenished or replaced unless you buy it again. And oftentimes you're going to buy it at a higher price than what you cashed out on for profits. This is continuity cash flow, perpetual income. This is commercial real estate without having renters, rehabs, or renovation. This is DRIP, providing water, clean efficiency water to third world countries. And I told you earlier in the live stream, I'm from Mississippi. This is, we just had a water crisis, still having a water crisis, very similar to Flint, Michigan. Poverty-stricken areas always suffer from the lack of clean drinking water. Digital link gold, again, if it's not backed up, it's probably made up. That means it's not backed by gold. It's not digital backed gold. It's linked to gold, which means as these tokens accumulates for you through this digital mining that can be done right from your laptop, which I'm doing it, or right from your cell phone. And I'm going to show you how many digital licenses I have that's working harder for me than I'm working for it. This is GROW. This is natural gas. I'm not sure if you all know this or not, but when the debt ceiling was raised, implementation for natural gas pipeline was introduced as well. This is how you follow the money. The language right now is about commodities. Just a couple of months ago, we was talking about the price of eggs. We're talking about the price of petroleum gas. We're going to talk about that again, especially next month in July when OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and Saudi Arabia cuts the petroleum gas exporting to the United States by millions of barrels a day. This is DRIP. This is DCM. This is data center mining, where they are mining Bitcoin right now through natural resources. This is carbon credits. This is the green energy deal. Very eco-friendly. This is what Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, the Biden administration is pushing, right? Eco-friendly, carbon credits. This is what you are getting in the pathway of growth, the futuristic changes, and positioning yourself that just like 2 Kings chapter 4, you're going to have perpetual income coming in for life. Or you can, right? I won't say you will. You can. As the Bible says, if you are willing and obedient, you eat the good of the land. If, then say you would be. Right. So that's it, you all. I'm about to go retire and get some more rest. Notify you that there is a 50% discount if you want to get perpetuity income, if you want to get cryptocurrencies that are backed on real world commodities. Um, the Bible gives you the formula for wealth is having commodities that July 5th ends July 5th, 50% off is Fight for Your Freedom sale. That means that you're getting out of the government system. You're converting your cash into real world commodities. You're getting out of fiat currency. You're putting your currency into things that's going to be the very basis and foundation of World War III. And again, at $30,000, $2 or $3,000 in Bitcoin is not going to make a big impact. It's not going to help you survive a depression. There's not a lot of meat on the bones, and unfortunately, people just holding on to that $3,000 in Bitcoin. And if it brings you back $10,000, I'm not saying that, but that's not the best, right? So, let me share this with you too. Some people ask me about emissions of Bitcoin mining and things like that. So let me share this small clip with you to give you more information on that as well. What DCM, you get airdrop Bitcoin and other proof of work tokens every month, people. You get airdropped that. That's the name of the game, where your money is making money and profits on autopilot, not cashing out. That's not the game the rich and wealthy play. They don't flip and flop. They have multiple income streams, and they have continuity cash flow, and they have compound interest that's uninterrupted. Right. All right. So let me play this clip for you.
The government taxing dirty Bitcoin mining, aka mining that doesn't come from sustainable sources. So there are some mining companies that are extremely worried about the proposed crypto tax, and some that aren't. As we can see from the Barron's article, it says such a tax would have cut severely into the profits of miners such as Marathon Digital Holdings and Riot Platforms. Now, why did they mention Riot Platforms? Well, just last month, the New York Real World, did they mention Riot Platforms? Well, just last month, profits of, did they mention Riot?
All right, so I just want to show you guys, this is kind of a typical Bitcoin mining farm. They're probably, I don't know what energy they're using, but it's just like we kind of showed you, right? Just big warehouses with Bitcoin miners in it. Now, ours are portable, because then we can move them from different, sites where we're mining natural gas. But you just need electricity and a shed and Bitcoin miners. That's all it is. And Riot's one of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there.
Riot Platforms. Well, just last month, the New York Times put out an article, The Real World Cost of the Digital Race for Bitcoin, where they identified the 34 most dirty operations, putting immense pressure on power grids around them. And guess who was identified as the dirtiest? Riot, where 96% of their operations were done with fossil fuel.
So again, guys, fossil fuel, all that CO2, and I'm not here to debate the CO2, climate change, global warming thing. We just want to help the planet and make everything eco-friendly.
Resulting in almost 2 million tons of CO2 emissions per year. The New York Times, of course, tweeted their article, but Riot jumped in to say BTC mining has 0 carbon emissions. Well, guess who decided to put them on the spot? The CEO of Energy Web, Jesse Morris. He jumped in and said, right, well, if you'd like to decarbonize the electricity powering your mining units and prove it to the public, give us a ping. That's because EnergyWeb just last week publicly launched a solution for sustainably mining Bitcoin alongside 5 mining firms. This is called Green Proofs for Bitcoin, or GP4BTC. From the launch article, we can see it says, GP4BTC will provide transparency into the decarbonization efforts of Bitcoin miners and hosting companies. As part of this solution, certificate will be issued to Bitcoin miners based on their clean energy use and contributions to grid stability via demand response. One of the 5 miners publicly launching this with EnergyWeb, we can see is Hive Blockchain Technologies. Hive, they weren't mentioned in that New York Times article because they are sticking to a sustainable path to mining Bitcoin and mine sustainably, now provable with GP4 BTC. And any new legislation punishing dirty miners with taxes, it doesn't bother them a bit. Now, I'm sure.
So that will be us, right? If in the future there is some sort of tax for mining dirty Bitcoin, we good. We got nothing to worry about. We are so far ahead of the curve.
Many of you were drawn to this video because I said billions could be flooding a certain crypto's ecosystem soon. Well, that crypto is EnergyWeb, and let me explain what's about to happen. Back in 2020, when EnergyWeb was carving out their strategic partners, they joined hands with a certain one. From this July 2020 post, we can see they partnered with the grid operator of Uruguay, the UTE.
And I know this isn't what we're talking about, Ricardo, but can we just stop to acknowledge we're transferring energy on the blockchain? We're talking about Uruguay literally getting all their electricity this way. Like, the fact that people are not getting into blockchain and cryptocurrency right now, to me, is financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like, you are just putting your head in the sand and being like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saving in dollars as they lose value every day.
Yeah, it's like not being a part of the internet.
Yeah.
You know, when it first came out.
That's what I always say. The
Yeah.
people in the 90s who are like, this internet looks like a fad. I don't need an email address.
Right.
Why do I want a website?
Yeah, exactly.
Together, they would pursue block.
Wow, that's so right. People say, "Why, they didn't get in the internet phase, they didn't get in the AOL phase, they didn't get in the Amazon phase," and some people are not going to get in the crypto phase. That's just your decision. But the issue with mining Bitcoin right now is the carbon dioxide that's produced out. Well, the CO2, not carbon dioxide. And as you know, there's birds and trees and plants that helps reduce carbon dioxide in the air. So mining Bitcoin in a very eco-friendly way is what DCM does. It does it through natural gas. And as a result, you get airdrops of Bitcoin from a one-time purchase of getting perpetual income and royalty income from a one-time decision. Just like the 2 Kings chapter 4 woman. She made a one-time strategy move and she retired rich for life. You can ignore it. You can get positioned. People that's already with me are 10 steps ahead of what's going on, position themselves for the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. All right, you all, I'm logging off. Thanks for tuning in. And if you come in on a replay, drop your name, city and or state or country. Let me know what part of the world that you are tuning in from. I would love to see you in person, visit you one day, and teach these crypto commodities to people in your state, region, or area to help you spread the message and knowledge to others, to help them get positioned as well, so that they don't have to feel the effect of a poverty transfer, but a prosperity transfer. Make sure you are subscribed to me on YouTube. Hit that bell notification button to subscribe to the channel. Have a great night, you all. Queen out.